In 1989, principal architect and urban planner Felino Palafox Jr. founded Palafox Associates with a staff of 4 and the planning of the Manila Southwoods as its first project. For the past 25 years, Palafox Associates has been involved in over 1,000 projects in 38 countries, which include the master plan of more than 16 billion square meters of land and the architecture of more than 12 million square meters of building floor area. The firm has been setting a benchmark in Philippine planning, architecture, engineering, interior and environmental design. One of the firm's notable projects is the planning, architecture, interior design and engineering of Rockwell Center and its first 5 towers, setting a benchmark for mixed-use developments in the Philippines. Some of the notable projects of the firm are the architecture of SM Malls, Robinsons Malls, and many other shopping centers in the Philippines and overseas. Behind each project is a globally competitive group of key professionals who make up an efficient and innovative team. They each ensure that Palafox Associates maintain its reputation in consistently providing excellent, multidisciplinary service for its clients worldwide. With these competitive group of professionals and the firm's strong architectural portfolio, a new company, Palafox Architecture, was founded last 2013. Inspired by the pursuit of excellence and the commitment to surpass previously held benchmarks, it is our mission to plan a sustainable future for all and create value in every place, building, and community that we design. We envision a social and environmental renaissance through our innovative, sustainable, and exemplary practice of architecture, planning, engineering, and design. Thank you for being part of our 25 years. Let us continue moving forward for a more sustainable future. From green to silver and beyond.
Good afternoon, global Filipino architects from Dubai, and good evening, Pilipinas and Singapore. Welcome to UAP 124 Dubai live session. We are streaming live on our YouTube channel, UAP 124 Dubai chapter, and our Facebook page at UAP 124 LLC. We have a very timely topic this afternoon in Dubai and evening in Singapore and Manila. The impact of the novel coronavirus on the economy, everyday life, and human interaction has been more far-reaching and devastating than many could imagine when the first known case was reported in Wuhan, China in December 2019. To control the widespread of COVID-19, companies worldwide are now mandating telework. Prominent international, regional, and local events have been postponed or canceled, and colleges, universities, and schools are transitioning to online classes for the next few weeks or the remainder of the academic year. Countries have responded by declaring state of emergency, national quarantines, and travel ban. So this afternoon, we will be having one of the prominent architects of our generation. But before that, let me introduce you and let me get my co-host, my friend from Singapore, architect Joan. Yes, Architect John. Hi, how are you?
Yes, hi, Architect Christian. How are you? I'm good here. Kamusta naman dyan?
Ayos naman dito sa Dubai. And how Singapore?
Ayos naman dito. Again, we're still under what we call the circuit breaker until June 1 kasi kami. And then even until yesterday, the cases are getting higher. We're already more than 20,000 cases here. But most of those cases ay dun sa dormitories ng ating mga foreign construction workers. Pero
Yeah.
syempre, of course, the government's giving all the supports to those cases. Kaya maayos naman, wala namang problema. But still, tahimik pa rin ang paligid even until kanina at ngayon.
Well, yeah, I mean, ngayong araw, it's been like, a busy day for both of us. um,
Yeah.
yeah, we just finished our live session in different platform. And
Mm-mm.
I'm with you, Apga Santa Mesa, earlier today. And I had a live session with them. And you
I was
also,
with I was with the Arc Asia. So, yun, medyo madugo ang kahapon ko kanina because
it's a
isang
one
isang buong
hour.
it's more
Yeah.
than an hour of talagang hindi ka pwede magtagalog. So talaga, but it's really nice and maganda naman yung mga feedback na nangyari. So napakaganda and very timely din kasi na talagang kadikit din yung talk na nagawa ko kanina tapos dito sa topic natin for tonight sasabi ko. Yeah, for tonight and this afternoon naman diyan nga pala.
Yes, yeah, I mean because we're trying to wrap up our numbers right now, so we're waiting for everybody to go on live.
Yes.
Let's we just greet yung mga nandito ngayon tuning in. Si Architect Chris Angelo Soriano, John Manalastas saying hello, Global Filipino Architects. We have here Skyscraper, hello, Global Filipino Architects. Ronald Celis is watching. June Pangilinan is watching. Architect Diane Pianes is watching. Zai, Francis, James, Akila, Sheila, Raymar Relato is also watching. And Lean is watching. And Richard Forbes is also watching. So, hi.
Yeah, hi
Magandang
everyone.
magandang hapon sa inyo from Dubai and then sa Pilipinas dyan.
Good evening from
Yes.
Singapore.
All right. So, yes, nandito na at ready na ang ating special guest for today. So let me just give you, introduce it officially, formally. Um, just for a sec, let me just get my um, stuff. All right. So our guest for today, alam, kilala nyo na ng lahat ito eh. Si Architect Felino Palafox Jr. Is FUAP, PIEP, APEC Architect, Harvard GSD, International Associate AIA member, APA, ULI, ICSC, US Green Building Council, Fellow of CTBUH. He is the Principal Architect and Urban Planner at Palafox Associates, President of Palafox Architecture Group, Architect and urban planner Felino Palafox Jr. has 48 years of experience in architecture and 46 years in planning. He was educated in Christ the King Seminary, University of Santo Tomas, University of the Philippines, and Harvard University. He also took an advanced management development program for real estate and attended 7 other special courses in Harvard. Architect Palafox has lectured in Harvard University, MIT, and in 18 other countries in Asia, Europe, and North America. His extensive travels allowed him to observe 1,000 cities in 65 countries. He also actively participated in conferences, lectures, seminars, and fora organized by international group of which he is an associate member like the American Institute of Architects, US Green Building Council, Urban Land Institute, and the American Planning Association. He is the current country representative for the Council on Tall Buildings and Urban Habitat. On July 1st, 2013, CTBUH headquarters in Chicago has elected architect Palafox as one of its two new fellow worldwide. Architect Palafox was also cited by Forbes Asia magazine in their list of 48 heroes of philanthropy in Asia, one of four in the Philippines. Architect Palafox led and managed his firm, Palafox Associates, in the planning of more than 17 billion square meters of land and design and in design, architecture of more than 12 million square meters of building floor area in 39 countries. The firm has also received more than 200 awards and recognitions since 1989, most notably as the first Filipino architectural firm included in the top 500 architectural firm in the world of the London-based World Architecture magazine in 1999. The only Southeast Asian architectural firm included in the list. For 2012, Palafox Associates ranked 89th in the list of the world's largest practices and top 8 in leisure projects. In 2014, Palafox Associates organized its 5 architectural studio into into Palafox Architecture Group. BCI Asia has awarded Palafox Associates BCI Asia's market leader in architecture in the Philippines for 9 consecutive years, from 2005 to 2013, and Palafox Architecture Group in 2016. Architect Palafox has been elected recently as chairman of National Real Estate Association. He is the past president of the International Real Estate Federation of the Philippines, the Philippine Institute of Environmental Planner, and the first architect urban planner president of Management Association of the Philippines. He is also a fellow of the United Architects of the Philippines. So, global Filipino architects, or my fellow architects, and my fellow colleagues and future architects, let's all welcome our dear and my former boss, Architect Jude Palafox Jr. Hi, Architect!
Hi, Architect Christian Vasquez and Architect Joan.
Hi, Architect.
Glad
Good
to be
evening
here.
po.
Good evening. Thank you, Christian, for an extremely generous introduction. Thank you. Glad to be here. And hello, everyone, fellow architects, global architects. Glad to
Yes,
be
hi,
here.
hi.
Hi. Yeah.
So yes, how are you first, Architect Palafox?
Yeah. We've been in quarantine since Friday, March 13. We are on our 8th week already, and it's been very challenging working from home and also telecommuting, online meetings with our staffers, our clients, and among many others. But it's not too bad. We're surviving and hoping that the lockdown will be lifted. And how's Dubai and how's Singapore?
Ladies first, Joanne, how's
Okay.
Singapore?
How's Singapore? Here in Singapore, ganun pa rin po tayo. We're still under the what we call circuit breaker at lockdown in other countries naman ang tawag nila, or the enhanced quarantine, community quarantine naman dyan sa Philippines. But so far, okay naman po kami dito, and the government's well supporting the community. So may takot, but again, still everything is fine as nasa perspective lang naman natin yung tao kung paano, how are we going to be creative in this kind of pandemic. Medyo ang challenging lang dito ngayon is, of course, wala kaming plots na unlike in the Philippines wherein pag naiinip ka, pwede kang lumabas sa garage or sa garden mo. Here, we don't have any. Kaya yun ang medyo challenging, but I think mas naging busy pa lalo na sa trabaho during the pandemic.
Oh yeah, here in Dubai, because we are all working remotely, in virtual. So yun nga napapansin namin dito sa mga Filipino architects here in Dubai. When you work remotely, you need to be visual, visual. How can you say that? much kailangan visible ka sa mga clients mo and with your
Yes.
colleagues and team, and especially your boss or your employer. So mas magpapasiklab ngayon yung mga tao during this time. And yeah, I mean, as I told you, I think kasi first time namin din dito na parang work from home, na kasi everybody was forced to do work from home na eh. So, kumbaga, as a first timer mag work from home, it's a bit challenging because, our flat, our homes, lalo na kung may mga kids ka, you are not, you're not really prepared on working from home with the kids around. And yun nga yung the importance of like the study area and then the offices. And probably that's one of the things that, we an architect, we can consider later on during, the post COVID scenario natin while designing it. And that's one of the, topics that we're going to discuss now. Yes, and before we go to our first topic, let's just pause for, a few reminders dito sa TikTok. All right, we're back with architect Palafox, and now, yes, our first topic to discuss: what it might mean to design for a world that will never be quite the same. What's your take to that, architect Palafox?
Yeah, I think the most quoted word right now is unprecedented. And
Mhm.
we are going into a new world order, a new normal, as people are saying. And we really have to learn to have lessons from this pandemic crisis. Otherwise, what did Albert Einstein said? It's the biggest mistake if you don't learn lessons, especially from this crisis. It will be a different world, uh, nothing like this. But we as architects, we have the advantage of looking at the future. But we'll have to look at different scenarios, different snapshots of the future, because we'll never know what will be. But I think we architects, designers, planners have the advantage over other professions because that's our profession, looking forward, not just in the immediate future, but the long-term future. And a lot of it will change. This COVID-19 will reshape our cities. It will reshape our buildings. And I think many of us now are, especially architects, are looking forward for the post-pandemic era. And while most of the rest of the world and most of the professions and businesses, they are looking at addressing this current problem today. And in the future, like even transportation, I wrote an article that maybe for social distancing, the best modes of transportation will be walking and
Mm.
biking because of social distancing. Then, of course, our offices, we're looking forward for the lifting of the lockdown. Like our offices in Makati, Cebu, and Davao, the density will probably just one third the pre-pandemic situation. And I think the working from home and remote managing and coordination will be the norm. And this may not be the last COVID.
Hmm.
COVID-19, we might have COVID-20, COVID-21, COVID-22, and maybe for the rest of our lives. So we must be prepared for that. And other countries like Dubai, UAE, and Singapore, you are better off because you have better broadband. Your internet is more reliable. Whereas in
Yeah.
the Philippines, it's overloaded. And also working from home, the challenges we have is like we have uh, fellow architects, designers working from home. So for our Makati office, we have uh, we have people working from home from Bulacan, Dumaguete, Batangas, Bulacan, Pampanga, and so on. And our Cebu office, they're also in a lockdown, also in Davao. So it's a big challenge, and it looks like the new normal will be it's already beginning at this point in time. So we really have to be prepared for it. And the challenges I like doing, I think you're experiencing that also, doing a design charrette, and it's still very limited. But telecommuting like this, it's easier. But sharing, collaboration, to design charrette, brainstorming, and so on, yeah, I think it's one of the biggest challenges that we will have. And
Yeah.
and uh, and but it's really one world now. The whole world's like one village. There's more communication now. In fact, even with my staffers, before I would my meetings would be with team leaders, but now I talk to everyone. And working from home is also many advantages. But in the Philippines, we have large uh, extended families, and most of the homes here are not air conditioned. So it's really very challenging. And many of my staffers are looking forward to go back to our offices. And productivity wise, I think we're only working from home in this situation. We were not ready for it. We're probably only 40% productivity. And there are areas like one of our engineers in Dumaguete, uh, they don't have internet. So it's a
Mm.
big challenge. But looking forward, the positives about it is we now have a better environment, less pollution, and uh, and we have not really inhabited this planet Earth properly. We have abused it, and Singapore is very lucky because somehow in Singapore, the government is very uh, uh, regulate the use of space. They encourage more open spaces. And our part of the world, uh, even open spaces are being sold. That would never happen in Singapore.
Mhm.
So
Mm.
Singapore is being looked at now, and the public housing in Singapore, I think 85% public housing, they are better ventilated than the more expensive luxury condominiums. So the most prepared actually are for this is are Taiwan, South Korea, and Singapore. Although Singapore have their challenges right now. What's your take on that, Architect Jovan and
Yes,
Christian?
sir. Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. With regards to what you've said, no, about the Singapore planning po, I really do believe and talaga naman pong ganun kaganda ang planning system namin dito. But also not just the planning system, but I would highly appreciate the policy that the
Mm.
government imposing. The moment that they said that this is the rule, talaga pong dapat that is the rule. Wherein yan po yung nakikita kong medyo butas sa bansa natin right now because we are trying to make sustainability, green building, at chuchu. But then there is no holistic policy from the government, not unlike here in Singapore, as what you've said, sir, with regards to the public spaces here. The public spaces talagang impose siya ng government, and then they do have the policy of a certain policy that since they do have scars of lands here, so they are if 50% of the public space po, kunyari, we do have a condominium development, for example, a private condominium development. If the developer of that if the developer or the owner of that development will allow the public or the people to use their space, kumbaga, no, 50% of that pwedeng magamit ng tao, like the playground, ganon, the government's giving them incentives. So
Yeah,
meaning to
but
Mm.
say,
yeah,
yeah, meaning to
well,
say, instead of the government putting the money to provide public space or playgrounds to his people, ang nangyayari is they are taking that from the private developments. and as an exchange, they do have an exempted for the taxes and incentives. So ganun po yung policy nila dito sa Singapore, na mas maganda kung may implement diyan sa Philippines as well, na the government will not put so much funds in building the developments while they are opening this kind of situation wherein they will gonna give tax incentives to the private developers if they will ask or if they will allow the public to use the spaces as well. Para po hindi ba doble-doble o hindi tayo nagkakaroon ng overdevelopment. Nagkakaroon po kasi sa atin ng overproduce of development sometimes. Kaya hindi na utilize yung space natin ng maayos dyan sa Philippines.
Yeah,
You know,
same
our
here. Yeah, go ahead, architect.
all right. If I may share, I was part of the World Bank funded Metro Plan Manila before I was invited to work in Dubai. And the plan for Metro Manila Transport Land Use Development Planning Project, we funded by the World Bank. I was team leader for development planning. The plan for Metro Manila was as good as the plan for Singapore, Kuala Lumpur, Hong Kong at that time. And we had the same consultants that have helped plan Singapore, Kuala Lumpur, and Hong Kong. Unfortunately, they were not followed. And we said in 1976, with a do-nothing scenario, we will have catastrophic traffic, catastrophic not prepared for disasters, open spaces were eaten up because what we should do, and I think you know this, the consideration for development should be people first or social equity, then planet, earth, and the environment. Then we can talk about profit, prosperity, culture, history, and heritage, and spirituality. In our country, the ones making decisions and urban planning decisions are politicians, and the built environment, private developers, it's all profit oriented. Profit, 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 never mind traffic.
Yes.
And over maximize, even open spaces are being sold.
Yep.
And I talked to one of the planners of one of the cities in Metro Manila. Why did you approve that? And he tells me, Architect June, it's not an urban planning decision, but political decision. And Singapore is very lucky because it started by Lee Kuan Yew. Unfortunately
Yeah.
for us, it's lawyers, politicians, and developers taking decisions on the built environment. But I'm still hopeful. That's why I'm writing a lot of articles. Uh, Two articles we wrote was silver lining, lessons to be learned from this crisis, and how do we move forward. I also wrote about healthcare systems. And healthcare systems, I think the Philippines is so substandard in our healthcare. I
Mhm.
think we
Yeah.
only have 1,000 ICU beds. And I think we are 70% lower than international standards. So, and lessons learned also, many plagues had happened in the past. Like in London, I think they survived so many plagues. And in the US, uh, there were also many epidemics and so on. But they have an urban planner, Frederick Olmsted. He designed 100 parks and open spaces in the US, including the Central Park, New York. And we had a good plan for Manila in the 1905 by Daniel Burnham. And his inspiration was Paris and Venice. Unfortunately, when we became a Philippine Republic, uh, all of those city beautiful, city efficient principles were all thrown away. So it's really the Philippine built environment is decided by politicians and profit-oriented developers. But there's still hope because I think learning from this crisis and documenting all the mistakes that's been happening, I hope the next generation will be able to correct the mistakes. And for architecture, like condominiums in Manila, even Dubai, uh, it's not very well naturally ventilated. And there'll be a lot of changes. Like I think even from we can learn from Japan, Taiwan, and uh, the Buddhist countries. they leave their shoes and slippers outside and so on. And I think there will be uh, more practice of personal and public hygiene from now and
Mm.
forwards. Like in London, after the big plague, they they spend more on their sewerage system and water supply. Here in the Philippines, it's not our cities are not sewered, and many of our urban poor areas they don't have access to clean water. So all of this we are highlighting in our we write articles about it, and people now are appreciating what we have been putting forward.
Yeah, I
And
mean, right, going back to, I want to go back with the healthcare design, because, as we all know, that healthcare designs will be very likely to get upgrade um, with what's happening now. I mean, taking for example from what's happening to the Philippines, um, the the biggest thing that to come to light during this is the inability for the hospital in the Philippines to accommodate the number of sick people. So you might see the design perspective, an ability to make a normal patient room for a more flexible, to increase capacity or easily to be converted into the ICU. I was just mentioning this because right now architects are often inspired to come up with fresh ideas during the moment while we are in quarantine, and then I think those are the um, design changes or design innovative that architects like us, the global Filipino architects, can think about on how we are going to approach the post-COVID scenario that we have. Architect Joan, you think what's gonna be regarding the public spaces, because of this situation that we have now? What's your take now for the public spaces?
Yeah, with regards to the public spaces, no, ang nakikita natin dyan, there will be a touchless technology. So,
Mhm.
because as we all know, 80% of the virus we can accumulate it by touching the, what do you call that one, contaminated spaces, kumbaga.
Yeah,
So the touchless technology will get into that, and then the more greens, therapeutic gardens will be introduced in our public spaces, because as we understand now, and the mental and emotional health or well-being of a person is being affected by this pandemic. And
mm,
aside from that, pocket gardens and more courtyards. And what else? Well, definitely for the buildings as well, there will be a good communication between the building and the surroundings. So we should realize what is the importance of embracing the nature into our building,
yeah,
incorporating sustainability in our design. So for public spaces, there will be more spaces which is flexible to our uses. So just like what happened right now, our event gathering space converted into emergency facilities for quarantine, right? So
yeah,
same thing na nangyayari din. So ngayon nakikita natin na the mostly our public spaces should be flexible for this kind of whatever will happen, because according to architect Palafox as well a while ago, this won't be the first, baka hindi lang ito ang COVID na mangyayari, not only
I hope
19 but
not.
20 or 21, we never know. So dapat maka-adapt tayo. So our design should be adaptable or flexible, holistic, and responsive.
Yeah, I
Ganon,
mean,
ganon yung
part of
take
the
ko.
new normal now is like, ngayon, binuksan na yung mga malls dito sa Dubai. And now, instead of dito sa Pilipinas, I mean, Architect Palafox have done a lot of shopping malls. Even in China, as in China. Now, the thing is, pag pumasok ka ngayon sa mall, imbis na metal detector yung sasalubong sa'yo ngayon, di ba, sa Pilipinas, ano yun, temperature scanner,
Mhm.
disinfectant and stuff. And probably that's one of the we will going to see changes now sa pagde-design ng mga malls and shopping malls
Yeah.
and the public spaces. There will be like, I can see from now, meron na tayong mga papasukan na tunnel to disinfect us before going inside uh, uh, the malls or di ba dito kasi nag-start na magkakaroon ng nakikita ko na sa mga Facebook ngayon, they are offering now yung mga capsule
Mhm.
wherein you can go inside at medyo lumalakas na yata yung business na yon here.
Yeah,
And,
and the pods as well, no?
oh
And
yeah,
right now, isang mga pinag-uusapan natin is applicable pa ba yung open planning for the offices? So,
yeah.
isang issue 'yan. So,
It's a
yun
it's a
yung mga
yeah,
kailangan nating pag-aralan.
it's
Yes,
a big
sir.
change because the past decade we were encouraging collaboration,
Mhm.
connectivity, and so on. And what's happening now is isolation, social distancing. So we have to consider that. And flexible space, we part of our philanthropic architecture, I call it. We designed COVID centers converting basketball courts, and
Mhm.
we have 44,000 barangays in the Philippines, and we don't have enough hospital beds. So we came forward. We put forward a COVID centers for those persons under investigations or persons under monitoring. Instead of congesting the hospitals, they they go to these COVID centers that easily can be converted the basketball courts, and we were acknowledged from many cities in 5 continents of our design, and it was we donated it, and we waive our intellectual property rights so that everybody has access to it. So I got acknowledgement from Toronto, New York, Los Angeles, San Francisco, Bilbao, even from Singapore, Beijing, Kuala Lumpur, and Khartoum in Africa. So there's so much psychological income in helping others. And the ones from Khartoum said, "You're doing this for humankind, not just for your country." So during this, when we're working from home, we collaborated together with experts from the healthcare industry, doctors, nurses in the front line, and also I have seven. We have 7 architect scholars at the management, at the Asian Institute of Management. They came up masters of science, innovation, and business. So we got them involved in here, and it's being implemented, and funders are looking for it now. And they were surprised it would cost only around 600,000 pesos because you already have the covered basketball courts.
Mhm. And
And these
the good
are
thing is, Filipinos love basketball, and then almost all the barangays have basketball courts. And
yeah.
your idea of having, proposing the Dictas COVID Center is really, really, I think, very feasible. And then with the cost of 500,000, around 500,000, that the LGU can, accommodate this one.
Yeah, with the
Yeah.
design manual, the local architects, local engineers, local health officers, they can just follow the design manual.
Mhm.
And it would take 4 healthcare workers to take care of it instead of congesting the hospital. So you do your testing there and their monitoring and so on. So that's an idea that we put forward with our 44,000 barangays, 1,600 towns and cities, and 81 provinces. And we had to act fast on it. And I think we are about 50,000 Filipino architects, including Filipino expats out there. And there's a lot of opportunity for innovation to help our country. And this is one opportunity we have at the Christian knows this. We practice philanthropic and patriotic architecture at Palafox. Like after the big disasters in Bam, Iran, we designed school buildings for an earthquake that never happened. Also in Kathmandu, we were asked by Chuchi, the Buddhist organization based in Taiwan, to design the hospitals, schools, and universities to last 40 generations, 1,000 years. But In our part of the world, when I talk about 100 years, that's only 4 generations. Our fellow Filipinos are skeptical that you can design something to last 4 generations. And you from abroad, you can actually contribute to this country, like our laws for making master plan communities.
Mhm.
They allow only they allow you to make 70% of the place sellable, buildable, and 30% open space. It, they call it less 22 to 24% for the roads. They include the roads as open spaces. Whereas in Singapore, I think Singapore has 45% open spaces, the really green spaces. In the Philippines, the open spaces are only about 8% because they include the open spaces roads. So when we designed Rockwell, I was able to convince the clients that let's make it Rockwell 49% non-saleable.
Mm.
And it was very successful development. And many of our clients, when we said that, and I've been criticized, I wrote an article, not many people were happy about it. I said, in the Philippines, it's from green, because Philippines used to be green, from green to gridlock, corporate greed. You know, I have 111 million pesos in libel cases for exposing corruption. Like in Subic, I hope I will not get a libel case for exposing to this. There was a six-star hotel. We got the contract for 1 million US dollars. Six-star hotel. Then I was instructed to destroy 366 70-year-old trees. And I
Oh
said
my.
a 50-year-old tree is about 10,000 pesos per tree. For the oxygen it gave for 50 years, the rainwater harvested, fertilizer gave planet Earth, and the beauty and cooling effect gave the environment. So a 70-year-old tree must be 12 million pesos per tree times 366. It's more than the $1 million architect's fee. So I returned the contract and they sued me for telling the truth. Only
Mhm.
after CNN, BBC, Al Jazeera came to the Philippines to to meet the crazy architect who would give up $1 million to save the trees. They say first time in the world. Only then that my 50 million legal suit was dismissed. But if the international media never came here, maybe I'd probably be in prison right now. And I think in our country, only 1% are corrupt, but the 98.99% are cowards or don't care anymore.
Yes,
And
sir.
Filipino expats, because you experience it where you are, and
Yeah.
corruption and even red tape is uh, never tolerated. So
Mhm.
maybe while you are in Dubai, Singapore, our Filipino expats, you can write a book actually, the best practices there, and share it with us. So I've been looking at it like yeah, Singapore 45% open spaces. The most livable cities in the world are, I think it's Vienna. Then Singapore is in the top 10 livable cities in the world, and even many Southeast Asian countries now, many Asian countries now are even overtaking the Western world in best
Mm.
practices. It's no longer like airports in Asia, including the Middle East, are better now than airports in Europe and the USA. So in
Very true.
Dubai and Singapore, maybe you may want to write down the best practices and share it with us, and we send it to government, and we can write about it. You send me and I'll acknowledge you. Lessons learned.
Yeah, that's
Singapore
very
from the
nice, sir. Thank you. Thank you about that. Kasi po talagang we as architects and also the architects working abroad po, no, we need to learn how to be bold, and not
yeah.
even the architects working abroad. We as an architects talaga, because we know, as nasabi niyo nga kanina, we can detect the future, kumbaga.
To see
Example,
the
in our
future.
government, yeah, in our government po, what is happening right now, yan po yung mga ano natin na walang pakialam sa ating environment. I think we need to open the door of those businessmen na they should learn what are the intangible benefits of the nature, no? Kasi sometimes they are just looking at the ROI as laging
Yes.
peso sign or dollar sign eh. But they are not looking at the sustainable tangible benefits, intangible benefits ng
Mm.
nagagawa ng nature, and they don't even realize na may ROI din pala yon. Ang
Yeah.
nakikita
Pero
lang nila na return on investment is the money itself in front of them. Kaya medyo ganyan yung thinking nila with regards to saving our nature.
the lifetime cost, life cycle cost, I wrote another article, the mistakes of Metro Manila. Like if compare Metro Manila to a human being, the hearts of the city are the central business districts, major activity centers, and they're so congested. And the arteries of the city are the roads and the waterways. And the open spaces, parks and playground are the lungs of the city. So Metro Manila needs a heart transplant, a heart bypass, and a lung transfer, comparing
Mhm.
the human body. In fact, many of the plans that I shared in Dubai, I learned it from the Metro Plan Manila 1976, 75, where I was team leader. And I work with consultants here like Palafox.
Mm.
And Dubai, the initial projects in Dubai were done by Halcro, Sir William Halcro,
Mhm.
and
Mm.
they were followed. Like our design for the rehabilitation of the Pasig River, I put it forward in Dubai. Look at the Dubai Creek now.
Yes, it's amazing.
The
Yeah, yeah.
it's a waterfront. So all rivers in the Philippines we put forward before. The the waterfront is a front door of development,
Mhm.
prime real estate. That's why Sheikh Mohammed decided to do the Palm Islands as well. Because I think Dubai only has 70 kilometers of natural waterfront. And they were all sold as prime real estate. So the Palm Islands went done, and I think they added hundreds of kilometers more of waterfront. Here in our country, we have the third longest waterfront, natural waterfront in the world, but we're
Mhm.
destroying them. We're uglifying our cities. So the I think the best thing to re-educate our leaders of industry and government, we show them examples. And like one time we were in the American Planning Association, 1998, they say single family homes, large single family homes in the middle of the cities have larger carbon footprint because they're arrogating to themselves very prime urban land resources and preventing more families to live closer to their places of work, encouraging more urban sprawl to encroach on the forests and to the farms. And we were hired to do the redevelopment master plan for Forbes Park. Instead of shaming them, they shamed me. And 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 I said, even in Metro Manila, we have OFWs because like Makati CBD, the daytime population is 11 times the nighttime population. So employees of Makati, Fort Bonifacio, and Ortigas uh, spend 6 hours a day in traffic. So they are away from their families 6 hours a day, just like having the heads of family working abroad, away from their families. So there's so many things to unlearn from Metro Manila. But a silver lining again, we've been proposing in the past uh, developing the regions, identifying emerging metropolitan areas as countermagnets to Metro Manila. And this administration, Duterte and Bongo, came out with the Balik Provincia program. And that's have been yeah, the only mistake in life is the lesson not learned. Albert Einstein. Thank you for sharing that.
Yes.
Yeah. And we have never let a good crisis, if we can call this a good crisis, go away without learning from it. The crisis and opportunity. And and I think if all the expatriate Filipinos, especially architects, we come together or let's co-author a book together and citing all the best practices and what's wrong with our buildings and cities in the Philippines. And you compare it to your host countries, host cities, we don't have to reinvent the wheel. It's being done elsewhere in the world already. And maybe in your spare time, start writing a book about it, and we can all co-author it, so that I will not be the only one who get sued. If there's 100 of us, it will be expensive for them to sue us. But one
Para
person,
sama-sama tayo, no? Masaya pa rin, sir. And then we will
my,
continue our
my,
learnings together there.
my legal suits totaled 111 million. 50 million is already, 50 million is already dismissed. I still have 61 million.
I don't think we're already ready kami sa ganyan, sir, no? But anyway,
Well,
that's a very good thing po. It's very inspiring that you're offering or we're asking or we raise this awareness din kasi sa ating mga kababayan back home that we as architects working here for several years because sir, I've been in Dubai as well. I worked there for 3 years together with the Parsons International, Parsons Corporation now. So we're also doing the master plannings of Dubai Internet City, the lagoons, and many more. So marami din po akong natutunan sa country na yan where pag titignan nga natin no going back in the Philippines they don't have enough natural resources sa totoo lang. It's all man-made. But then they can able to sustain the country. Though, syempre, sinasabi nga nila na Dubai is impossible to be a sustainable country. But still, ang good thing sa Dubai is they're still trying their best talaga to be one of the sustainable country.
there's a
Kumbaga
joke.
ganon.
There's a joke I got from the Middle East. So many countries now complain to Allah why Allah blessed the Philippines with so many natural resources. And then Allah replied, stop complaining. I also gave them the worst politicians. So
Mukhang
Allah is
magandang
fair.
susunod na ano to. Mukhang magandang susunod na usapan to. No? Mukhang iinit po yan. When it comes to politician, talagang I am very bold regarding that.
Joanne and Architect Palafox, a while ago, I was with you Apga sa Tamesa, and then somebody asked me, where do I see myself 5 to 10 years from now? And then ang sabi ko, probably I'll be in the Philippines. Yun yung nakikita ko sarili ko. And nakita ko sarili ko, not an architect na sa industry natin, but in politics. Because I'm sick and tired of voting. Parang walang nangyayari sa voting, sa complaints, sa concept. We need to do something about it. And then yun yung sinabi ko kay Architect Palafox when we last chatted about it. Pang senador na rin, di ba? Joanne.
Sige, wag ka mag-alala. Nasa likod mo naman ako eh. Alam mo naman, mabilis
we need to have a planner, an architect, and then a
yes.
philanthropy in the government in order for us kasi kung puro concept tayo and then books and then ipapasa natin sa kanila.
Yeah,
And
nothing will happen, I guess. So,
I
meron
know.
naman sigurong mangyayari, though not nothing. But it's been how many years? Ang tagal eh. Kita mo nga, sir, tumanda na oh. Hanggang ngayon eh, wala pa. Di ba? Parang gano'n. So, we need someone to get in. Parang gano'n
Yeah.
nga. So, ikakandidato ka na ba namin?
Yeah. Yeah. I think every election day somebody approached me if I'd like to run, but I don't know. Maybe I'm more effective from the outside because I might be even good people are swallowed in the system, the bureaucracy, the corruption, and so on. And then if you are a crusader, advocate, you'll probably get assassinated or something.
Yes.
No, I have one advice. I have one advice to you, Architect Palafox. One term lang. Kasi pag second term, doon ka na matututong kainin na system. So one term lang para yung focus ng advocacy mo andoon.
You know what? Just to
I
yes,
was a
sir.
student leader during our time with the National Union of Students of the Philippines. And many of my contemporaries, they entered government, they became corrupt.
Oh.
And yeah.
Hindi, sabi ko nga, one term lang. Try lang natin.
How can I pay salaries of my people?
yun nga ang problema doon, no? Tsaka
I will be editing what I'm going to say. At least where I am now, I can say anything. Apologies pala, I'm moving because my iPad was not working. So I'm using my iPhone. Yeah. And I don't
Yeah.
really how position myself to look at the camera. Yeah.
It's all right, sir. Kami rin po umuusog-usog din dito eh. Dapat sumentro sa camera. Well, yun nga rin, no, mabalik tayo. Masarap na usapan talaga ng politics. Eh. Just to share with, kung hindi po siguro ako arkitekto, isa akong abogado. But my mom asked me not to. Tsaka, or journalist. Yun talaga yung mga gusto ko eh. But si mama sabi niya, hindi. Sabi ko, why? Kasi pag naging abogado ka, naging judge ka, hukom bitay ka eh. So, yun yung
There
term
are
niya sa akin eh. So, sabi niya, tsaka pag naging journalist ka, malamang maaga kang mamamatay. Kasi daw papatay. Kasi, alam mo yan, hindi kasi, kumbaga, nandun yung puso natin na, no, this is what is right eh. And then,
yeah,
kagaya nga nito, anyway, binigyan tayo ng Diyos ng boses pa rin. Having this kind of
yeah.
conversation is one in a million ika nga, di ba? Na sitting with architect Palafox and discussing everything under the sun na wala talagang walls. So if we want to talk about politics, and napakasarap palang kausap ni Sir pagdating sa politics.
Alam mo, yun nga eh, parang ang yung usapan natin, going back to dun sa politics and stuff. Lahat talaga, like dito sa Dubai, everything starts doon sa taas, doon sa government.
Yeah.
Lahat ng kailangan, kaya nga halos lahat ng mga dialogue and conferences here, even round tables, discussion ng mga professionals here, ang lagi kong ina-advise is, let's collect them kasi kung usap tayo ng usap, and then somebody needs to bring this, set of our conversation, our research, to give it to the government in order for them, kasi sila yung mismong magmamandate sa tao eh. Hindi susundin ng developer tayo if bigyan natin developer, and then of course ang developer and then mostly mga clients, dalawa lang nasa isip, time and money.
Yeah.
And then anong care nila sa environment, anong care nila sa sa vision ng architects. Gusto nila mas matipid, mas mabilis ang pera and stuff. But if mag-intervene yung government and sabihan, no, you need to have this, you need to have that, yung lead before na ini-implement dito sa Dubai. So I guess lahat ng mga pinag-usapan natin dito, and then as of now, what we can do, and tama si Architect Palafox, that we need to start, even you in Singapore, Architect Joanne, and us here in Dubai, we can, try to get the best practices that we have, compile it and stuff, and then kailangan natin i-share yon probably sa mga LGUs. We can start sa mga kilala. Like dito sa Dubai, we have 500 Filipino global architects here. So kalat yan from Luzon to Mindanao, and then somebody needs to, to get in touch with their LGUs sa kanila kagaya. We can start from there. And and then we can write a book. May assignment na tayo bago, Joanne. We need to write a book now and co-author with Architect Palafox.
Actually, no, I am already starting. Kasi I am now starting to write a book with regards to the core 360 of systems thinking. So, yun, sir, kung to be part of that din sa binabalak nyo. Kasi talaga pong I am an advocate of sustainability. Kasi ang hirap nilang maintindihan. Many people thought that sustainability is masyadong technical, but they don't even know that sustainability, we're already living with it. Actually, yung new norm nga is we just need to understand what is the old norm. So, yun po yung pino-formulate ko ngayon na bagong toolkit, which is the 360 degrees systems thinking.
Yeah. Sometimes you have to be controversial. I was interviewed one time.
Ayan, maganda pag-usapan din yan, sir.
In the air on TV. And I said, I don't know why I said that. 10% of our mayors, governors, and senators, and congressmen, 10% of them are very good. Then the next question asked of me, how about the 90%? And I said, they can be better.
All right. So yes, we have few minutes remaining now. Yeah. Go ahead.
Nawawala yata ang mic ni Sir, no?
Yeah. So some mayors, when they see me at the business lounge, they ask me
Hmm.
if they are in my 10% good. Sometimes.
That's interesting, huh? That's interesting.
All right, now we will pause for a break, and then we'll go back to your questions now, and then you will have we have like 10 minutes to to check on the comment section. If you have any questions with regards to the topic and with Palafox, Architect Palafox, then you can write it down. So for now, let's just pause for a break, and we'll be back with Architect Palafox and Architect Joanne. The United Architects of the Philippines, UAP 124, is the keeper of the best, upholds educational professional standards, and is the voice of our profession. And our home, this great house, is the envy of other professions.
Enjoy the night together and we'll celebrate all the successes or commiserate for the near misses. But at the end of the night, we're all here to enjoy ourselves. So everyone have fun.
Thank you so much. Congratulations to all the winners. I'll see you on the next fiscal year. Salamat! All right, and we're back, and you're watching UAP 124 Dubai live session. I'm here with architect Felino Palafox Jr. From the Philippines live, and Joanne Tabinas, architect Joanne from Singapore.
Yes,
Yes,
hi,
so
good evening again.
we have here one comment from architect Annie Pojeda. The biggest challenge in the third world country like ours is the population, of which is the space allocation. In the new normal, we will no longer using the 0.36 square meter personal differential space. Chain reactive to that is the workforce in regards to their accessibility to their work location. One of my concern being in tropical country depending on AC in our workspace. How would the employers ensure the safety of their employees considering that air in ACs recirculate and study shows that virus can be airborne and has been transferred via ACs? So yes, I mean, that what's, MEP needs to jump in now with regards to the indoor air quality. What's your take there, Architect John?
Okay.
Architect John, yeah, go first.
Okay. With regards to the AC, no, kanina rin may nagtanong sa akin yan sa Arcasia because we are using the adaptive reuse building, kumbaga. So, paano daw uli yun? Kumbaga, after this pandemic, so they will gonna use the space again. Then how the citizens are so sure that the environment that they use for the quarantine facilities is safe? Like what? Then they already cite the example of that air conditioning unit. So, with regards to that, I put myself in there that at this moment, we are in the middle of what we say still unknown with regards to the fighting of the COVID or kung paano talaga siya mapapatay. But the only thing that we can do is talagang to sanitize everything. So sa AC naman, there is one innovation right now, which is the light. The what do you call that? The name is Luminaire. It's invented by the Filipino engineer Sheldon Ruiz. he's based here in Singapore. Bali, he is using the UV lighting, pero meron na yung fan para maghigop and mag-circulate ng hangin. So
Yeah.
it will help our ducting system na ma-purify na yung air using that lamp na meron
Yeah.
siyang chamber. So from there, pag nagpas yung hinigop niyang hangin doon sa lighting system na yon, mamamatay yung mga viruses and bacteria. So that will help to purify the air. Para hindi lang tayo aasa or para hindi lang tayo yung fear natin is mag-i-stay yung bacteria dun sa loob ng room and magsi-circulate lang using our air conditioning unit. But then of course, meron talagang price ang innovation. Kagaya nga nito, papasok tong ganitong klase, talagang there's a price on it. Talagang we need to spend. So yun yung
Yeah.
masasabi ko with regards to that air conditioning system unit, no, na the UV light now can help you to purify the air as well. So there's a collaboration between the lighting and the mechanical system.
Yeah,
Final
I just ordered the UVC light na nga eh. So dumating na yung dalawa. I'm using it actually. So yes, Architect Palafox.
Hello, sir.
Yeah. Can you hear me
Yeah.
now?
Yes,
Yes.
yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know what inspired me? The school buildings, 11 school buildings we designed in Bam, Iran after the big earthquake. Bastakia, Dubai, the wind towers. And
Yeah.
yeah, you collect the wind, the air from
Yeah.
above, ventilate the rooms below, and cross ventilated. And in Bam, Iran, uh, the the school buildings that we designed, the feedback I got is in summer it's 20 degrees lower temperature, and in autumn 10 degrees lower. So we may have to restudy the. In fact, Bastakia came from Bastak, Iran. So the wind towers of Dubai, then cross ventilated from the horizontally, it's working in the buildings we designed, and I think we could look at that, the passive cooling and so on. And there was a, I don't know if they're air conditioned already, a mall in Sharjah with wind towers. Before it was not air conditioned when we were there. I don't know if it still exists. So
I, yeah.
we can learn from the past, passive cooling.
Mhm. Pero sir, ang question lang po is how about for the buildings that we already have today? Kasi po yung mga pwede nating i-implement yan pag magtatayo tayo ng bago or kung i-renovate po natin ulit yung ating mga schools. Wherein yun ang concern ni Ma'am Annie. But how about po yung ngayon, yung babalik na sila sa school and then their fear is they are using the room and they do have this
Yeah,
kind
retrofit.
of air conditioning.
Even our office spaces. So right now we have our office in Makati was designed for 100 people, but only 22 will be able to go back. And we're studying now about how to have a clean air. UV is one of them, and the humidifier and so on. So we really have to innovate now. And one of the examples I said it earlier, being cited for condominiums are the public housing in Singapore. They have more natural lighting and cross ventilation, and they have more pocket parks and gardens. And
Yes.
they also found out that there's more friendliness and neighborliness in the public housing in Singapore because they have outdoor living rooms where they congregate, and they say it's even better design than the luxury condos in Singapore. So a lot of lessons to be learned, and Singapore is a pace setter. And Dubai, the Bastakia, try to. Unfortunately, most of them now are air conditioned. They covered the wind towers.
All right. Okay. Then we have here another one from Kiko. Is it good thing to note that material selection for future designs is crucial with regards to a more hygienic and sanitized environment or space? So I guess one of the things that because right now we are trying to to try to not innovate our design and adapting the new norms now. probably maybe the designers now will take into consideration on, yes, the material selection, um, like probably the antibacterial fabric and finishes,
Mm-hmm.
including those who already exist, like copper.
Yeah.
Um, I think one of the things is, yeah, copper is an antibacterial, have an element, an entity, to resist virus adaptation. So yeah, do you have anything to add?
Which
Also no yung antimicrobial yon, antimicrobial polymer, that is also
Mm.
one. Kaya nga yun din yung sinabi mo no, yung copper alloy, that is
Yep.
also germicidal. And then yeah, with regards to this post pandemic, we are more keen to what materials are we going to use. And the materials we're looking at is not only for the germicidals, but I would suggest that in terms of the materials itself, example for constructions or for anything, we should promote using the local materials. Why I connected onto that? Because using the local materials, no, example that we are having the lockdown, if you have your construction there, if you're not using your own material or the material that you can see along your vicinity, eh, lahat ng nangyayari sa is maaantala, because you need to get your materials outside your vicinity. And also, kaya rin natin ini-implement yung paggamit ng local materials in sustainability, para yung pagta-transfer, it won't add carbon footprint to our
Mm.
atmosphere anymore due to the transporting of your materials. So aside from germicidal and microbial, we should think of using our local materials around us during and after
adding
this
to that,
post-pandemic.
yeah, bamboo is a good material.
Yes, sir.
Bamboo.
Yeah, I'm
Yes, sir.
about
We've
to
been
say that,
researching
bamboo.
also. Bamboo. You can easily clean it, and viruses, germs don't stay long as long as it's engineered bamboo. And if
Yeah.
I may share also, we got it from a infectious disease doctor, a scientist. There are 1.7 million viruses in the atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.
So with these parks and playgrounds and open spaces, we need to develop our immune system, the best way to counteract viruses. That's why we have to reshape our cities, our environments, and our buildings. All of this cross ventilation, sunlight, and so on. Then, of course, the social distancing will have to be considered now. Instead of spending trillions of dollars for high-speed trains and so on, why don't we invest na lang on wider sidewalks and bicycle lanes?
Mm.
And the
Walkable
whole the
city.
whole world should address that. That
Yes.
recognizing that walking and biking are the first modes of transportation. I heard Singapore now is going to put bike lanes.
Yes, sir.
Manhattan, New York, after the OPEC oil crisis of 1973, they widened their sidewalks and put bicycle lanes, taking away some moving traffic lanes as bicycle lanes. They even introduced tricycles in Manhattan, uh, uh, crossing the major roads, but not along the major roads. And I think it will be Karima, my daughter, calls it
Mm.
tactical urbanism. Street
Mm.
Yes.
improvements, widening the roads, and so on. So a lot of things will happen, and more of community design. When we were designing Rockwell, a survey was done. We Metro Manilans, we walk only 400 meters. So ideally, 400 meters or 5-minute walk. Ideally, all the amenities of urban living should be accessible. And I think that will be the norm also. I heard Melbourne is doing that now. 20-minute radius, whether you ride the
Mm.
public transport or you walk or bicycle, it's 20-minute radius.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of lessons to be shared.
Yes,
Yeah.
just to share with Dimpo, no, with regards to that development of walkable and cyclable spaces here in Singapore. Kasi po, we had that kind of question as well from the student naman last week. kung paano natin may nagsabi na yan nga yung walkable and cyclable, but looking at the urban planning in the Philippines, for example, yung kagaya ng in-state nyo na nga rin kanina, sir, no, na one of your employee, you have your office in Makati but they are living in the northern part of Metro Manila or Luzon. So it's quite difficult for them to cycle going. But if we will gonna rethink our urban planning, wherein yung 20-minute radius of walking, kumbaga from your home going to your workplace, that's a very good thing. And that is also part of a more livable community, ika nga. We have that project did here in Singapore and still under study, the Sungay Kadut. The Sungay Kadut is a brown area here po sa Singapore, which is under industrial zone. But then we are replanning that to make it more livable. Kumbaga, kasi satellite community na yung inaano natin eh. Hindi na dapat tayo naka-centralize. That is one question here now in post COVID, kumbaga post-pandemic natin. Is this the reborn of a satellite community? Kumbaga.
All our designs and urban plans, we put it forward. It's the implementation and political will to do it. In fact, all our recommendations mostly not followed here. The road cross section, one third should be for people, bicycles, bike lanes, and pedestrian pathways. One third for trees and landscaping, because it takes about 10 trees to recover the oxygen out of the carbon monoxide per car, and only one third for moving traffic lanes. I think I've been proposing that since 1974, 1976. They are in the plans but never implemented. So hopefully, with this crisis, it's an opportunity to revive those proposals again. And
Yeah.
in fact, in our office, Palafox Associates and Palafox Architecture, we have what we call postcards from the future. We take pictures of the uglification of our cities and we send to the mayors architectural urban design perspectives and how they should look like. And some mayors get upset with me, but some mayors have been hiring us after we started sending them the ugliness of their city and how they should be done. In fact, today we released some images on this how Pasig River should look like, what Estero de San Miguel should look like, and so on. And all over the country, we're doing that now. And we'll come out with the book Postcards of the Future because there are so many requests to publish it. We published 3 books already, all sold out. And the last one, the cheapest, uh, towards more resilient cities and communities, it got sold out. And I got an award as the best book award for the professions. So we don't have to be just architects. We should be architects also, uh, sharing our knowledge, expertise, experience, and our education. And one thing that my professors at Harvard Graduate School of Design, when I described to them what I'm doing, the exposing anomalies and fighting for the environment, they told me that if you live in a country that doesn't care for the environment and there's a lot of corruption, you practice architectural activism. So I've been practicing that together with our patriotic architecture, architecture for the poor, and philanthropic architecture. I think the opportunity has given us to have work abroad. Maybe it's payback time to help our country. Let's educate
Yes,
the
you.
leaders.
Yeah,
Yeah, in
yeah.
fact, the
Yeah. Go ahead.
bikeable, walkable, and public transit. I wrote one time, people call me either architectural activist, maverick, or controversial. I wrote one time, the leaders of industry must be the exemplars, not the exempted. They should take the public transit so they can feel where maybe 90% of Metro Manilans are experiencing commuting through the public transport. And there are maybe what you may want to do, take the email addresses of all the newspapers and media in the Philippines and email your ideas. you will not get libel cases because you're outside the country.
Or probably Architect Palafox, you can send it to us and then we can send it on your behalf. So medyo mababawasan yung mga libel case mo dyan.
But
Okay,
it's
we have
truly inspiring, no, yung ginagawa ni Architect Palafox na talagang he's standing where talagang yun yung pinaniniwalaan niya eh. So, it's very amazing, sir, kung ako nga kanina sabi it's inspiring. And now, I am giving it back to you, sir. You really inspires us a lot. Kasi po kami, lumaki kami knowing Architect June Palafox is one of the architects in pedestal, kung ika nga. No.
lumabas sa
I
board
was
exam
lucky
ko
also
yan.
for
Yeah,
I was
sa
lucky
akin
also
din,
to
sa akin din, lumabas sa board exam namin yan.
sa Dubai. Sa Dubai, I learned a lot from Sheikh Rashid, the father of Sheikh Mohammed. You know, we could have dinner with him without appointments, and we go there, no cordon sanitaire. And you know what he told us? I was the youngest, the only Southeast Asian. We were from 20 expats from 14 countries. You know what he challenged us, architects and planners, Sheikh Rashid? Design Dubai as if there's no oil. Then design Dubai, create a garden city out of the desert. Make Dubai a pace setter city in the Middle East and North Africa. And the other one was, I forgot the other one. And one thing that I like very much was for every year of service in Dubai, bring your family around the world and copy benchmarking. Yeah, benchmarking. So, and make Dubai first world city in 15 years. They were able to achieve it. So my
Yeah.
colleagues, they went to the usual, London, Paris, New York. I researched cities that became first world in less than 15 years. So San Francisco, go west, young man. So San Francisco started with the gold, then construction boom come, trading center, banking center, aerospace center, and so on. So it evolved not just from gold, it evolved from one resource to the other. In Hong Kong, what was how Hong Kong started? Opium. So from opium, may pag-asa pang Pilipinas. So from opium,
Yes. From Shabu ba tayo?
from opium trading center, then those escaping communist China, they brought to Hong Kong their manufacturing skills and trading skills and garment making skills. So from opium to trading, manufacturing, to banking, and so on, regional center. Singapore. Singapore was kicked out of the Malaysian Federation because the Malays they did not like short family names. So they were very lucky. They had a Lee Kuan Yew, a honor graduate from Cambridge, United Kingdom. So Lee Kuan Yew, I think he just copied from Hong Kong with more landscaping. And he decreed that all trees planted visible from the major thoroughfare is tax deductible for the first 5 years. And because after 5 years, the tree can take care of ourselves, of the tree itself. In our country, after the photo op, nobody takes care of the tree. And I think Lee Kuan Yew copied Hong Kong with more landscaping. Then Zurich and Geneva also became first world in less than 15 years. How did it get started? The two world wars, the Italians, the French, and the Germans running away from the world wars. They brought with them chocolate making and watchmaking. That's how Zurich and Geneva started.
Mhm.
Watchmaking chocolates. Now Geneva is a world center, banking center, and so on. So I went back to the conversation table in Dubai. How Dubai can evolve away from oil. So people thought we were crazy that time. That the tallest building in the Middle East, the World Trade Center, the largest man-made harbor in the world, Jebel Ali, golf courses in the desert, because Sheikh Rashid surrounded himself with experts and he listens, then he implements. He just gave us his vision. So Dubai is very lucky to have had Sheikh Rashid bin Said Al Maktoum in Singapore because of Lee Kuan Yew. And they bring experts from all over the world, and they listen and implement. In our country, we have the highest density per hectare of lawyers, more lawyers per hectare than anywhere else in the world. And politicians are deciding on the built environment and corporate greed. I
Sabi ko
hope
na
I will
nga
not
ba,
get another notification from this.
sabi ko na ba, tumakbo ka na, Architect Palafox. And all right, so we are now in the last segment now. Our last question probably will take from the student, di ba? That they are our future. What advice can you give, sir, to or to everybody, to Joanne and to Architect Palafox, to the young architects to help develop and better the Philippine future? So we're going to ask Architect Palafox and Architect Joanne that question. Mag-branding muna tayo with very short commercial break. All right, so yes, we are in the last segment now. There is a hanging question and dinededicate natin yung question na to sa mga future architects natin, sa mga young architects natin sa Pilipinas. What advice can you give, sir, to the young architects to help develop and a better the Philippine future? So we will call now Architect Palafox and Architect Joan. So yes, what advice, sir, you want to give to our young architects and future architects ng ating bansa?
Yeah, I think what I've been sharing to my colleagues at Palafox, for every line you draw, if you do a good job, think of the beneficiaries. If you do a lousy job, think of the sufferers. It's one of them. Then we have our, as I shared a while ago, it's really the the triple bottom line of people first or social equity, planet Earth, or the environment. Then we can talk about profit and prosperity and economic goals. Another thing which also guides us is that pro deo patria et terra, Latin for God, country, and planet Earth. And we have core values in our office, which I introduced since we started 1989. Honesty, integrity, professionalism, speed, agility, caring for the environment, and spirituality. And everything we do, should not only be physically, technically feasible, it should also be socially feasible, economically feasible, and so on. And then don't just be the client, don't just think of the client who is paying you. Think of the end users. And that's why when people thought I was crazy when I gave up 1 million US dollars architect's fee for a 6-star hotel, but we were able to save 366 70-year-old trees. They're still around in Subic, those trees. And stick to your principles. Don't be afraid to practice architectural activism, patriotic architecture, and philanthropic architecture. And everything you do, think 1,000 years from now, 100 years from now, 25 years from now, 5 years from now. Even where we are today, I think 5, 15 years from now, we'll be looking back at perspective of 25 years, 40 years, and so on. And the millennials, I think our generation, baby boomer generation, we did not succeed in coming out with more livable spaces, more livable communities, healthier cities and environments. And that's all I can remember. I could share with you now from the top of my head and from my heart. Thank you for the opportunity to share. And I'm so privileged and glad to have been invited here, Architect Christian, and conversing with you, Architect Joanne.
Thank you very
All
much
right.
as well,
Thank you
sir.
so much, Architect Felino Palafox Jr. You've been very supportive to UAP Dubai. You are our honorary member here. And he is the first expat ng UAE, in Dubai. So, thank you so much, Architect Felino Palafox Jr. Keep safe. Regards to Mrs. P and the rest of the family. And have a good night. Maraming salamat po.
Yeah, thank you. Stay safe, sane, and healthy.
Thank
Salamat,
you,
salamat,
sir. Thank you
salamat.
po.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very much.
Thank you.
All right, so that's Architect Palafox Jr., Architect John.
Yeah.
Whew. Ito na yata yung last live natin ngayong
So, sumakit yung likod.
araw.
Sumasakit ang likod ko. It's a sign of aging. Ika.
So yeah, we're
So,
very fortunate. Lumagpas tayo ng 30 minutes because it's ang daming pwedeng pag-usapan with Architect Palafox and it's very interesting and very timely. And I hope yung ating mga students na nagwa-watch, you can still rerun this talk later on. We'll keep this posted on our YouTube channel, to our Facebook page, and to our UAP page account. And yeah.
sa
So,
dami, no?
now,
Sa dami. Hindi mo na mabanggit eh.
di ko na
Basta
mabagyan,
ano
UAP.
eh. Ito po
And
kaming magkaibigan.
And even Architect Joanne's talk, we'll be sharing it on our Facebook page.
Oh,
So
yeah,
kung
yeah.
gusto pa,
Sure, sure. Sige.
papanoorin natin ang kanilang naging talk kaninang umaga. Halos sabay kami nag-talk ng live in a different path and nag-meet kami to join with Architect Palafox, of course. Kasi si Architect Palafox, isang sabihan mo lang dyan, pinaunlakan tayo lagi. Ganyan yung
Yes, kaya
kamahal ng
talagang
Dubai.
we are so blessed, no? We are so blessed kasi akalain mo yun. Actually, talagang what they put there dun sa akin a while ago is sinakatalagay sa kanila, nakasabi sa akin dun is architecture activist nga daw ako. Nagulat nga ako. Sabi ko, I am environmental strategist. Pero kumbaga nabuhayan tayo sa talagang passion ni Architect June, no? Talagang kahit may edad na or bata pa siya, talagang nandun yung puso niya, not just in architecture, but to push a better and livable community for the Philippines. So, ang wish lang natin doon is sana wag natin yun maisang tabi. Yung sinasabi niya na noong ginawa niyang plan for 1973, hindi pa tayo mga pinapanganak, I am very much willing na buhayin uli yun. Kasi talagang it's a gem para sa generations natin, and then for a person and an advocate like him, it is something. So, talagang
You know,
kakaiba.
Architect John, I think ang kailangan natin, because we have here still Architect Palafox with us, di ba? And then he is really, sabi nga, architecture activist, and he keeps on saying what needs to be done. With regards to our traffic, with regards to our, with our environment sa Pilipinas, he talks to politicians and stuff. I think the best way we can do is to support him.
Yes.
Kasi parang
exactly.
feeling ko mag-isa siyang lumalaban eh. Mag-isa siyang kumakausap, mag-isa siyang ganyan. If tayo, with everybody of us, believes on what he thinks, he predicts of what's happening, kailangan niya ng backup natin lahat, di ba?
Yeah. Ako dito in live streaming, I am telling you the one that I am writing now, kasi talagang Ayun na nga, magkakaroon kami ng meeting when I go back to the Philippines na supposedly dapat nga last March, but unfortunately nangyari nga itong ating pandemic. Pero good thing yan na na-open niyo sa atin, no? Kasi maraming mga bata, young architects or even young at heart na gustong magsulat, gustong maging author, gustong mag-impart ng knowledge, pero wala sila yung lakas ng loob. Not unlike today na narinig natin kay Architect Palafox na he's willing to co-author, no? So, let's collaborate para at least, especially na tayo, na wala naman halos ginagawa, yung mga hindi busy, yung mga hindi busy at home, why don't we have a brainstorming together? Especially we already have this platform, the Zoom, or what are we using right now?
StreamYard and stuff.
Yeah,
Yes.
and nandiyan ang UAP Dubai. Why not? Let's do it, di ba? Let's have
Yeah,
a
we're
design charade, brainstorming. Let's do it. Let's do it together. Kasi nga, napakahirap nung kasi kami, in core, we are all four, and then we're doing our book. So we are collaborating. How much more if we are more than that?
Yeah,
So,
we here in UAP Dubai with 500 architects,
imagine that.
500 members, and if probably the UAP Abu Dhabi, our students was watching. If every one of us, supports the advocacy and the philosophy that Felino Palafox Jr. The architect is trying to you know push this, so I guess lahat may mangyayari at may mangyayari dito. I just hope na makinig sila doon pa. Nakinig sana sila noon pa. I've worked with Palafox like after college, 14, 15 years ago. And doon time na yon, talaga inisis pa rin niya yung like yung sa traffic sa EDSA and how to to fix it, and then yung mga bridges, and then yung the big one, and then the Pasig River. He tries to to be there to push everything, but ang naglalak lang siguro is yung support of our profession, support from our for the Filipino architects here. And I think, it's my realization now after this talk that, I think we need to do something about it.
Yeah, tama yun, tama yun. So, yun nga, no, napakaganda nung usapan natin kanina with regards to writing a book, sharing the best practice kung saang bansa tayo nandun. Alam mo, to be honest with you, the first writing na ginagawa ko, actually tapos na, is all about Dubai. It's all about Dubai. And the title of that is Beyond Oil, Sustainable Dubai. Yun ang sa akin kasi that's the research that I did last time. That's the reason why I was there as well last year. Isang taon na pala yon. So that's the reason, one of the reasons why I was there, kasi I researched about the sustainability of Dubai. So yun yung naisulat ko. Hindi ko pa rin talaga siya naipapasa, and I promise UAP nga, kung nanonood si NP, no, I promise UAP to submit it to them para for the publication. So yun nga, magandang practice na gumawa tayo ng writings natin, and if you want, we can put them all together. We can proofread for you, parang gano'n, no? At least ma-build natin yung community architects writing, kumbaga, or architects having this passion in researching. Kasi most of us, lalo na mga estudyanteng nakikinig sa atin, ang arkitekto hindi lang naman laging nasa drawing, laging nasa computer, architecture is very broad, kumbaga. So you can be part of the research group, you can be part of authorship, you can be an academe, you can be a speaker like this, lecturing anywhere, everywhere, sharing your thoughts and raise awareness, a sort of like that. So architecture is not only bound in drawings and designs. Ika nga. If you're given a talent of talking, speaking, ganon, Richard. Si Jeff Garcia. Hi, Sir Jeff. Happy birthday! Oy, i-shout mo si Jeff. It's his birthday.
Yeah. Birthday niya sa Australia, sa Sydney. Yes, ang daming sumusuport dun sa calling natin. We will support Architect Palafox. So mukhang kailangan natin ilaban yung candidacy ni Architect Palafox.
Oh, tsaka yung
Kailangan
candidacy mo, ha? Yung pala, paano ba 'to? Puwedeng pakibigay sa'kin yung lineup niyo. And why not, 'di ba? Why not?
Hindi,
Because
I mean, hindi,
'di
yun
ba
nga yung
kung
sabi ko eh. I'm just tired of, of giving my comments on Facebook, yung mga shout out ko sa Facebook about, the government and stuff. Nakakapagod na. And then gusto kasi may mangyari yun eh. And I think walang mangyayari if I'm not in that position. But that's
yes.
in 5 to 10 years pa eh. So, kailangan pa natin magpatubo ng maraming puti ng buhok para medyo pang politiko na. But yeah, sabi ko
Oo.
nga kay Architect, parang isang term lang. Dahil kakainin na tayo ng sistema ng second term.
No, I don't think so because for one term, it shouldn't be enough. Kumbaga, hindi enough 'yun
Hindi,
for
ganito eh. Papakita mo lang, like nangyayari dito sa Dubai, ipapakita mo lang how things needs to be done. Pag nagawa mo na yon and then meron ng realization yung mga tao na yung the next president or the next officers needs to be to step up and because they already saw what needs to be done sa isang organization
yeah.
like this. And if gagawin natin to in like in a political way, papakita lang natin sa taong bayan na ganito tayo dapat pinapalakad ng gobyerno. Ganito. Pero pang LGU lang naman ako, hindi naman pa senador ka.
Iniisip ko na nga kung anong gagawin kong jingle para sa iyo eh.
All right, Architect Joanne, maraming salamat. Do you have any advice yung kaninang question natin anong advice natin sa student natin? Take it away.
Okay, so ito nga yung sinasabi natin, no? As an architect, there are countless of ways how are you going to evolve as a professional. Ika nga, no? You need to carve your own identity through your true desire in the profession. You should have that if you have that advocacy like me in terms of environmental friendly design, sustainability, resiliency, you should have it and know your aim lagi. Sabi nga yun ni Sa Hadid, no? Talagang you should know your aim because if you don't know what is your aim, it is really hard for you to achieve your goal because scattered ka eh. You should always walk your talk. And there is no easy path. Okay, there is no easy path. You will encounter many challenges, a lot of no's, diba? But you should always remember that you just need to up to the challenge and believe that you are capable of it. Okay? Learn to embrace complexity, know how things works. Now, yan ang talagang very much important. You should know how things works and always share your knowledge. Accepting mentorship is an opportunity for me. So you as well, we are encouraging you to mentor younger generations as well pag nandun na kayo sa position na kaya nyo na or you're already an architect. And then lastly, always keep your integrity. You will not able to please a lot of people around you or not all people around you, but just keep your integrity to yourself. That's all. Have a great night.
All right, maraming salamat, partner, Architect Joanne Tabinas, live streaming from Singapore. Maraming salamat. Thank you. Keep safe and the family safe. Maraming salamat, Architect Joanne.
Thank you. And to you as well, partner dyan sa ating Dubai, no? Magkikita tayo next year. That's definite. So stay safe, stay at home, and always stay relevant. Thank you and have a great night to all.
All right, so maraming salamat sa mga nag-tune in sa atin. This is UAP 124 Dubai live session. We are streaming live on our Facebook page, UAP 124 LLC, to our YouTube channel, UAP 124 Dubai chapter. So maraming salamat sa pag-join nyo sa amin. Have a safe and wonderful weekend to everybody.